Stephen J. Garvey, founder, leader of National Citizens Alliance, NCA, PM candidate for 2019. And I'm pleased to share that the National Citizens Alliance is officially eligible federal party, and we're soon to be officially registered, probably as of next week, when one of our candidates in the by-election is fully registered for the by-election. So we will make an announcement when that happens. Tonight I have, uh, I'll be very blunt, it's a mind-blowing presentation on global order in Davos 2019, and we came across some pretty amazing facts about behind the scenes. And like I said, we feel we're pretty informed on the issues, and we found this mind blowing. So remember, tonight is about sharing the facts, connecting the dots, for the sole purpose of informing the Canadian people. That's what we're trying to do here. We're sharing with you and your family the facts. We're connecting the dots, and hopefully you can make the best decision in regard to your family, your community, our country. And that's our primary role, is to be transparent, share the facts. And like I said, I personally found this mind blowing, and I'm still comprehending it. And I'm gonna brush through all the facts and connect the dots tonight on Davos, on the United Nations, global world order, because that's what it's all about. Again, I wear the yellow vest tonight in unity with Canadians and patriots around the world who oppose the globalist agenda, who are anti-globalist, pro their own country. So that's why I wear this. National Citizens Alliance is 100% grassroots, uncontrolled opposition. We are anti-globalist, pro-Canadian, Canadian people first, Canada first. Bottom line, that's it. And I have to stress, politics, activism, for us, there's no difference. They're both the same things. And for us to be true grassroots, we have to be on the ground and active. That's what grassroots is. We're not like the establishment politicians, in their boardrooms, having their cocktails, afraid to come to rallies and speak. We're different. We are on the ground. We are connected to the Canadian people, and hopefully, that's something the Canadian people value about NCA. But that's who we are, and that's who we will remain. And I should mention there's a couple sponsored Yellow Vest rallies coming up for NCA this coming weekend in Fredericton at the Legislature building there at 2 p.m. There's going to be a NCA Yellow Vest rally. So if you're in the Fredericton area, please come out. There's an open mic. We want to hear from you. So please be sure to come out. And today we just scheduled one for Burnaby City Hall on February 2nd at 11 a.m. And I'm going to be down there because we have a candidate running in the Burnaby South by-election um, against the NDP leader, Jagmeet Singh. So obviously we oppose their agenda. They are far left. Who cares if they're left? But they are extreme globalists as far as we're concerned, and we oppose them. So we have a candidate we're fielding there, Adrian Bordage, and I'll be in Burnaby supporting Adrian, and we're going to be holding a yellow vest rally at the city hall. So that's Saturday, February 2nd at 11 a.m. Burnaby City Hall. So please come out. We're going to make some noise, and we got to stand up to these globalists, to the UN. That's all there is to it. I'm going to turn now and get into Davos 2019. Like I said, like most Canadians, I was pretty much uninformed about this. I had a lot of assumptions, and and one of our researchers at NC, Lori, shared the information with me, and then we dug deeper. So we're doing a presentation tonight on it. I'm going to get right into this, and please share this video with your friends so we can awaken more Canadians. And here's the basic write up on Davos 2019 global agenda, they call it. World Economic Forum annual meeting 2019 in Davos, Switzerland. It's in looks like it's 3 days in, and it ends tomorrow from the 22nd to the 25th, and it's held every year. And they claim it's committed to improving the state of the world. And this agenda is called Globalization 4.0, shaping a global architecture. We would argue that's global world order, shaping global world order in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. And then if you look through this document here, this unbelievably, this document mirrors Agenda 2030, which Harper signed Canada on in 2015. It's all about sustainable development. It's all about climate change action. It's all about open borders. It's all about global communism. Can you believe that? That's what Davos is about, everyone. Don't be fooled by the World Economic Forum. This is a world globalist forum. That's what it is. People who go to Davos, these are globalist politicians. These are globalist financial elitists. These are globalist corporations that go there. This is all about global world order, and I will prove this tonight. So here's this document here. Go look it up yourself. Um, it's an overview of the meeting. It talks about shaping the future of consumption, which is right out of Agenda 2030. They talk about changing consumption, um, shaping the future of digital economy society, shaping the future of economic progress, shaping the future of education, gender, work, shaping the future of energy, future of food systems, future of international trade and investment, shaping the future of mobility, and this pertains to the UN Migration Pact, and so on. And if you look through this document, it's all these issues. And that's I'm going to shift here. So this is one of the mind-blowing things here. The World Economic Forum endorses the UN Migration Pact. And this is a statement here. UN Global Pact, communication engagement, statement of support by the managing board of the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum reiterates its continued support for the mission and principles of the UN Migration Compact. We remain honored and humbled that these principles were announced by the UN Secretary General Annan at the forum's annual meeting 1999 in Davos. Can you believe that? The principles, the concepts for the UN Migration Pact were first initiated in Davos 1999. This is how long it's been going on. 1999. Unbelievable. And that forum fully endorses the UN Migration Pact, which is all about climate change action, erosion of sovereignty, erosion of citizenry, global communism, open borders. Unbelievable. And then if we go down further, it talks about the principles of the compact. I'm not going to go into it, but it's all glossed over. Limit our environmental footprint, resource optimization. Um, it talks about uphold the highest standards of governance, top-down governance. That is. Then it talks about engage positively with communities and stakeholders. This is again the global aspect of it. Human rights pertaining to migrants, gender parity, on and on. I'm not going to go to this is all glossed over, but the bottom line is the World Economic Forum fully supports the UN Migration Pact. And as I mentioned, in 1999, that's where the first idea for the UN Migration Pact started. Unbelievable. Canada, incidentally, has been a member of the Davos World Economic Forum since 1992. 1982, that is, excuse me. And I'm just going to share some background here. The gentleman, the economist Klaus Schwab, founded the Davos Economic Forum in 1971, and he founded it in 1971. And it should be interesting. His background from 1996 to 1998, he was vice chairman of the UN Committee for Development Planning. UN Committee for Development Planning. From 1993 to 1995, Schwab was a member of the UN High Level Advisory Board on Sustainable Development. So this is a high-end, high-level UN bureaucrat who is overseeing the World Economic Forum. As I mentioned, this is an exclusive annual gathering of the world's globalist politicians and globalist financial elites, including globalist corporations. Unbelievable. So if we dig deeper, we're going to dig deeper into this because we got to shed the truth on this. Remember, we're connecting dots here, and we're going to link this back to Canada as we go through it and show the globalist establishment. It doesn't matter whether you're right or left, liberal, conservative. They're all in bed with this. It doesn't matter. And that, whether you make up a fake populist party like Bernie, we'll show that Bernie is just fully in bed with the World Economic Forum, and we will show that. This establishment is crooked. They're deceiving the Canadian people, and they're just in bed with these globalist elites. So right here, these are actors behind the scene of sustainability, and they're behind the scenes at the World Economic Forum. You got the African Union here. They got the EU, the International Energy Agency, International Renewable Energy Agency, Organization of American States, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Wow, and if we go down, we got the globalist financial institutions, International Monetary Fund, World Trade Organization, World Bank, Green Climate Change Fund, Global Environment Facility. And then if we go down forward, these are multilateral environmental agreement bodies, Basel Convention, CMS, GPA, Global Program of Action, CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, on and on. UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, UN Forum on Forests, UN Convention on to combat desertification. And then we go further, UN Program Agency or Fund. There's just a whole list of these UN agencies. On and on. UN Energy, UN Habitat, UN Water, UNDP. Look here, UN Population Fund. And this is something the current federal government and past fund in the millions of our tax dollars. And I think it's on controlling population growth. UNESCO, which the federal government funds. UN Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization that pushes the inclusive agenda of UN Agenda 2030. UN Environmental Program, UN Regency, Refugee Agency, UN's Children's Fund, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, on and on. All these UN entities, which are government funds in the billions, are right here behind the scenes. And then if we dig a little deeper, these are the partners at the World Economic Forum this year. And if you look through the list, a lot of them are globalist corporations. There are globalist financial institutions, international banks, Barclays. You got Chevron, International Oil Company. You got Dow Chemical Company, Facebook, Google, uh, UPS, IBM Corporation, all kinds of banks, HSBC Holdings. And look at here, the Rockefeller Foundation, which is probably at the pinnacle of the globalist agenda. They're a partner to this. And it just goes on and on. Look at the list, everyone. Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola, these are globalist corporations. Nestle, a globalist corporation. Automobile companies, which are globalist. And then if we look further, this is pretty interesting. It says here, the Davos billionaires keep getting richer. The world's elites have prospered since the financial crash. So this is an interesting findings here. And it says here, just down here at the bottom, it says here, it shows that the global billionaire wealth growth has grown by 3.4 trillion in 2009, and then it has grown to 8.9 trillion in 2017. So they've gone from 3.4 trillion in 2009 to 8.9 trillion in 2017. And a report from Oxfam on Monday revealed that the poorest half of the world saw their wealth fall by 11% last year in 2018. So these are the globalists. They're getting richer. You know, we're talking about the 0.0001%. And these are the people at Davos. These are the people at Davos. Can you believe it? And they want to run the world, dictate to the world, and I should share some insight on the founder of Davos, Klaus Schwab. Um, he says it was in 2012. He said capitalism in its current form has no place in the world around us. And then he says we have failed to learn the lessons of the financial crash of 2009. A global transformation needs to take place urgently, and it must begin by restoring a form of social responsibility. And what Mr. Schwab really means is global communism for the average person in the world, for most Canadians, while these globalist elites maintain their lavish lifestyles, right? So it's basically they're going to be up here just dictating, and we're going to have to live with, have our consumerism controlled, our lifestyle controlled. Everything's going to be regulated in the name of sustainability, and they're just going to keep living their lavish lives. But that's what that's all about. That is unbelievable. And I want to put this into a Canadian context. So the federal government is sending at least 4 ministers to the Davos Globalist Conference, and they are Navdeep Bains, Bill Morneau, the financial minister, Chrystia Freeland, and Jim Carr. So what are they going to do there? Canada, as we've already shared many times, the current government, the entire establishment is in bed with this globalist agenda. I don't know what they're going to do. We know George Soros is giving a speech there, and you know, you got J.P. Morgan, the big globalist financial company is holding a cocktail party, and etc., etc. So I don't know what they expect to accomplish there, but this is all about the global world order and pushing the transformation. And it just shows that our government establishment is completely in bed with this, completely in bed. But it's not just this government. Remember that. It's not just this government. Because Harper was there in 2012 and he gave a speech to the Davos. Guess what? He was talking all about major transformations to Canada and to future generations. He's using the same language. He talked about sustainability. He was talking about demographic changes in Canada in 2012. That was Harper. And here's the Agenda 2030, which Harper signed Canada onto. Guess what? Transforming our world. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And Harper signed us on in September 2015. Everything happening to Canada, you can link back to Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Even the UN Migration Pact is linked back to these agendas. And I'm proud to, I'm proud in one sense, but National Citizens Alliance is the only party running in 2019 that will withdraw Canada from Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the UN Migration Pact. And that's the truth there. But you can see Harper's right in bed with this. And look at this. And then we got Bernier. Bernier, what was Bernier doing there on our tax time? In 2008, Bernier traveled to the World Economic Forum, smoozing with all the globalists. Can you believe that? And, Bernier said he was going there. He said the World Economic Forum brings together world economic political leaders to hold informal, constructive discussions on global issues. Okay, Bernier, right? And then he says his focus will be on international cooperation and reconstruction of Afghanistan. Right, Bernier. Nice job. Well, get this, everyone. It turns out Bernier was completely incompetent. Who knows if there was kickbacks? But all the millions that Canada, through the federal government, gave to Afghanistan, it turns out most of this was wasted. And this was a report that came out in the U.S. Billions in aid to Afghanistan wasted, including money from Canada, U.S. agency fines. And this was published on November 8th, 2018. So, we call on Canadians to wake up. They're all globalists. They're in bed with this globalist agenda, this global world order agenda, which is transforming our country. You, the Canadian people, have never had a say. And this is a fact. They want to transform Canada into a UN-like globalist village. And that is the honest truth. That's what they're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're left or right, liberal, conservative, fake populist like Bernier. They're all in the club. They're all pushing it. And that is the honest truth. And just look at the Queen's Privy Council. They're all in that council. They're all in that council, the Privy Council. And remember, when an MP gets sworn into the Parliament, they have to pledge allegiance to the Queen, and therefore to the Queen's Privy Council. The Queen's Privy Council acts as the shadow government on the cabinet, the minister, the prime minister, and the federal government. This is the honest truth. Do not get fooled by globalists like Bernier. He's there to distract. He is backup plan E. That's all this globalist is. He's in there with these bankers, with Rockefeller Foundation, you name it, all these globalists. Uh, this banker lawyer, Bernie, is in bed with them, just as Harper was, and just as Trudeau is, Freeland, Morneau, they're all in the club. Remember that. And we want to fight this, NCA. We are sickened by this. This is our United Nations policy. I encourage people to go look at it at nationalcitizensalliance.ca. We want to cease all voluntary funding to the United Nations and its affiliates. Reduce mandatory payments to the UN regular budget if the UN does not take concrete steps to address its internal issues, biases, and failed policies. NCA is committed to withdrawing Canada as a signatory from Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and the UN Migration Pact. We will spend $0 on attaining a non-veto seat on the Security Council. We will review all UN declaration, covenants, agreements, treaties that Canada is signed onto and withdraw from any that are not in our people's best interest. We will put a moratorium on UN peacekeeping operations involving Canadian troops. We do not want to put our troops in unnecessary harm's way. And we will hold a national binding referendum on exiting from the UN entirely. And that will be up to the Canadian people. All the savings from our pullback from the UN, we will use to pay off the growing federal debt, which is over $1 trillion in market debt. As I mentioned, NCA is true grassroots, uncontrolled opposition. And I hope you found this informative tonight. But listen, we were blown away. We never knew that about the Davos World Economic Forum, but this is right in bed with the UN, right in bed with their Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, transforming the whole world through their climate change action, global communism, erosion of sovereignty, and erosion of citizenry. It's horrendous, everyone. It's absolutely horrendous. So I hope you found this informative tonight. Please share this to help wake up more Canadians. But I'm telling you, this is the honest truth. All those cronies in Ottawa, all those career politicians, they're all in bed together. They're all part of this globalist agenda. This isn't made up. I proved it tonight. It's there, the facts. They're pushing this agenda. They have contempt for the Canadian people. They're arrogant. I view them as tyrants. They have a complete disregard for democracy. They think they're better than everyone, and they're doing it on your dime. They're doing it on your dime while your taxes are going up. Your family can barely make ends meet while they're whining and dining in Davos on our dime, like that Bernie guy did in 2008. Flying there, just flaunting around. That is BS, everyone. That is BS. We got to drain those crony establishment politicians out of Ottawa. They are destroying this country. They are destroying this country. Please join NCA. Become a candidate against those globalists. Donate to the party. Volunteer in one of the ridings. Join today. Thank you very much.